Hey, 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 hey. Go ahead. Just look at this title for a little bit. Look at it for a moment. Just for a moment. That's right. The rules, the rules. Sound a little crazy? I know it does, but y'all know people send me subjects and things to talk about. I get a whole lot of videos and TikToks and things that people are talking about and things that people want to talk about. Y'all know I get that in my DMs, right? All right, so I said to myself, let me entertain my people, my good people. Let me see what they want to talk about, because on Talk It Out Tuesday, Tori and I talk some things out. So you want to talk about it? Okay, I said, okay. Let me bring it to Talk It Out Tuesday. And that's what today is. I want to tell you guys happy Tuesday. Hope you are having a great day so far. I know that I'm having a great day. I've had a nice little vacation, actually. It was a holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. And I'm telling you, I went out of town, had a great time, a little family time, and I'm going to keep it going because I got a birthday that's coming up this week as well. So I'm just going to I'm in celebration mode. But I wanted to respond to this particular subject matter here as it relates to side pieces. Yeah. They tell me, there's rules out here. And if you're going to play the game, you got to know the rules. But I want to tell you, good people, this isn't necessarily something that I actually advocate. No, it's not. But it's something that we can talk about. I want us to be here, and I feel like we can spark a good, honest conversation and explore the do's and don'ts that come along with affairs. Oh, yeah. So buckle up. Buckle up, because we're going to navigate through some uncharted territory here, but we're going to do that together. All right? Before we get too deep into the conversation, you guys know what's going on. You know what I got to do, what we've got to do. We got to get into a little breath work, and I think we are going to need it for this conversation. You dig what I'm saying? What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4, and we're going to hold it for a few seconds, and then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your head pods on and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? It feels better than great, and I'm glad you took the time to take that breath work, because you need it for yourself, and you just might need it for this conversation. You just might need it. They tell me there's rules out here. They say if you're going to play the game, you're going to need to know the rules. And while it is important to note that we are not promoting or encouraging affairs, it's not ethical, it's not advisable, but we know folks out here having them. We do know that, right? But before I go any further, I just want to emphasize that I'm not here to judge, and I'm not here to encourage any such behavior. No. But I am here to spark an honest conversation, and I do want us to explore some of the do's. I want us to explore some of the don'ts when it comes to affairs, because we know people get in them. We know things that start happening. It's Talk It Out Tuesday, and I couldn't think of a better time to have this conversation than Talk It Out Tuesday with Tori and MsTonya. So I'm going to bring Tori right on in here with me. Tori, come on in here. Get on in here with me.
What's up? Listen, I said, oh Lord, I had a mouthful of. But anyway, what's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. I missed you guys last week, but of course, Miss Tanya held it down. I was listening to the replay. My son, of course, was a junior marshal. I'm very proud of him. So thank you, Tanya, for showing him love. He was just a smiling when he heard you call his name. so, so of course I was spending time with him last Tuesday. But listen, let me tell y'all something. When Tanya sent me the topic this morning, I'm like, what? We talking about what? But like she says, this is not something that we advocate, but people are doing it. And I will say this because Tanya, you already know I'm always transparent. There was a time in my life where I was a side chick. And at that time, I will say Tori did not love Tori. Tori had low
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem. So it's not something like Tanya said, it's not something that we advocate, but sometimes people find themselves in this situation. We don't know everybody's story. Everybody got a story, but I was caught up in a affair, being a side chick myself, and then or the new term that people use these days, entanglement. I got caught up. But listen, when you know better, you do better. When you know who you are and whose you are, you do better. And when you know your worth, you do better. So this is like Tanya said, this is not something that we advocate, but this is something that people do, and this is people find themselves in those situations. And
But
like I
listen,
said, mhm,
listen, we get that. We, we
mhm,
we got that. They know we're not out here saying, go ahead and get your little side piece out here. I'm not for or against, but what I'm saying is when you
yeah,
out here, when you start getting into these type of entanglements, as we like to say now,
mhm,
there's a lot that goes on. So what I want to know, and really what sparked the conversation, like I said, a lot of times I get so many people who DM me videos and TikToks and shorts and all kind of things and ideas and things that they want to talk about. Some of them I entertain and some of them I kind of like, push to the side because we have topics already. But, this is something that came up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it out here. I know Tori gonna think I done lost my mind, but I haven't lost my mind. I'm just giving the people what they want, you know. But what I want to know is, like, we know that people get involved in extracurricular activities, I should say, and there could be a number of things that come to. There could be a number of reasons why this actually happens. People have different reasons for it, but the thing I want to know is, I guess I want to ask you, since you were being, transparent, like, in terms of the communication and how this thing started, did you you knew that this person was in another relationship?
yes, I did. I did. And honestly, this particular person, they just painted this picture like they better half was just like the worst person in the world. I'm like, okay. But they painted this picture like the person was just such a bad person. And when I met the person that they just painted such a, because I'm the type of person I like to get to know people for myself. But I was like, man, she can't be this bad. And when I met this person, she was like the complete opposite of what he described. I'm like, why did he paint
Whoa,
this picture of what? I was like, it was
whoa, hold
crazy.
on.
Hmm.
Pump the brake a minute, because I got to ask a question.
Oh Lord, here we go.
I got to ask a question because I'm listening to you. So,
Yeah.
when we having a conversation, so it's making me think something here. So
Okay.
you said they painted the picture that, their partner was, you know,
Like the worst
just a
person.
horrible person, which is
Yeah.
typical. We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the, that's one of the old school ways. But
Hmm.
when you met the partner, his
Hmm.
partner, were you
Hmm.
already having the affair?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
this is the question I want to know, and here we are. We gonna get into the rules. Now, I want to ask you this: Why was it necessary for you to meet her?
Well, we actually, mm, let's see, how do I say it? Most people that know me know the situation, but it's like, um, I would this person crossed my path because of the job that I have, and they did the job that I have. They brought the person to a particular event that we were having, so that's why I had the opportunity to actually meet this person.
Okay.
And
Okay. Because
okay,
I was about to say, at what point do you even feel like it's necessary to even be meeting that person, particularly if you already know that you are involved, you know, in an affair?
yeah,
But that's something I want to know. Like,
yeah.
what are those rules? Like, what are those ground rules in terms of meeting the other person's mate or having any type of communication with them? Like, are you supposed to be doing that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wouldn't encourage it at all. It was very I would say it was a very awkward experience. And mind you, let me say this. This happened when I was in my 20s. I'm now in my 40s. So it was like 20 plus years ago. So y'all, I've beyond that, but it
Well,
was a while ago. Yeah.
respect. This isn't even about defending yourself, because we get that part. I just basically like having a conversation. I want to go ahead and have the conversation because it was sparked, and I feel like if we're going to
Mhm.
be honest, it's like, you're having an affair, that there are other parties involved, and sometimes is other parties involved on both sides, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But like, what are those limitations? There has to be some kind of communication and expectations on, like you said, you were in close relation, or how you work, you could be in close relations with a lot of people, but still, were there not any like limitations on that? So you're saying that they didn't prioritize their mate not meeting you, or vice versa?
No. No.
Do you think, okay, well, do you think that should be a thing? I think that there should be clear boundaries. I feel like a side piece need to know their role. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of the times where, quite obviously, if you're going to be involved with the person and you start sleeping with a person, somebody is going to start catching some feelings. It happens. And so at some point within that relationship, and if the other person is married or in any type of committed relationship, I feel like there has to be conversation involved. Like, okay, how are we going to terminate this? Are we going to take this further? How are we going to deal with those type of emotions? Or does that become a thing? Like, how do you deal with that? Because if you feel like you start falling for the person, do you just keep doing it? That I feel like there has to be some rules, because as a side piece, you got to know your position and you got to play your position. You The other person has a wife or a significant other, and you don't get that love treatment. Just like the holiday situation, there's rules, there's boundaries. What is the thought process on the other side of that?
Thought process as far as the other person or
Yeah, like, do people discuss these rules?
no, I feel like it's something that you should already know. Like, of course, in order for you not to be seen, of course, you have to go out of town with certain things or go places where you're not going to be seen. But if you go someplace locally, of course, you're going to sit in the back in the cut where nobody can see you. But if you actually want to be out in the open, then of course, you got to go out of town. You got to go out of town, and it's crazy. And then like if you're putting someone's number in your phone, of course, you don't save the number as the person that's actually is. Like, for example, if you are a woman cheating, you'll save even though it's a man, you're going to save their number as a female name. So when people are looking through your phone, because I'm telling you, that has happened to me before, where someone called my phone, the number was saved as something else. They got curious, like, wait a minute, what? Who?
Right.
So yeah,
See, it's like, to me,
it's too much
that
work,
sounds
to
like
be honest with
managing a
you.
whole lot of stress.
It is.
There's
Very
Yeah, you're
stressful.
managing a whole lot of stress, and I don't know necessarily that that would work for me and my well-being.
Yeah.
However, like I
Yeah.
said, it's happening out here. People are doing it all the time, and there has to be clear and defined rules. But feelings do get involved because we know
Mhm.
situations where, and I haven't been on the side of having an extramarital affair, but I've been on the side on the wife side of it. And
Mhm.
so where I know that the rules should be imposed, like, this chick is starting to call me. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. These are not the rules. I'm not having this affair with you. You don't get to call me. You don't get to talk to me. I have nothing to say to you. We're not having any conversation, any communication. That's the type of person I am. Now, I'm not verbally articulating it in this way. I'm just not having a conversation, but I have to I'm saying that now so that you can understand where I'm coming from. So I'm not, I'm hanging up. I don't want to hear anything. Now I know that everybody's different. And so there's some women, they're gonna want to know, they're gonna want to have the conversation, they want to bring everything out. No, y'all work. I'm gonna talk to him, not you. So all of
Right.
my conversation is gonna have to be with him. Whatever is going on between the two of you is get ready to be between the two of you. But and it was like a nonstop thing.
Mhm.
Like she was really, like she just really became invested in wanting to talk to me to an obsessive point, which I
Oh
was
wow.
like, hey, you got to get your girl under control. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's not how this whole thing works, you know?
Yeah. That's
So
interesting.
that's why I say you got to know you got to know your role and you got to know your place. You are the other woman, so you got to stay on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
I
see
see a whole
some
lot of people out here. I see some people who are looking, watching us have the conversation. I want to know from you guys, what do you feel like some of those rules and where those, you know, that position lies? Like I'm really curious. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Like how does that whole dynamic play out? Like I've heard situations and I know of women who begin to get upset when they don't get to spend the holidays or they feel like, when the holidays come around, they get all in their feelings. And I'm like, you can't be upset about this. Like I'm known and I've had these conversations with women, friend of mine, who were in their feelings about a guy they're going out with who was married. I'm like,
right.
how can you be upset? He has a whole
Right.
family. You know this.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
so I feel like it's important to know the rules, know
Mhm.
your place. And then they start getting up and then when they get mad and get upset because they're not able to have the holidays, they get a little upset when they see, them on the little family outings and events. They might see the wife's posting her family and, everything's looking all nice and cute. And then, she on the other side feeling a type of way. So now she want to kind of mess that up or mess that up for him. And that's not working because did you guys not talk about this? Did you not know this? So when I got the video and I got the topic idea, I was like, well, what rules are people discussing? You know you're gonna get in your feelings when you're sleeping with somebody. You know that. But you gotta stay in your place. You dig?
Yeah, that's true. And I would say that when I was in that situation, it wasn't something I wasn't one of those people that, well, I'm gonna call the person or I'm trying to I just played, was in that role. Now, now there was a point, the only time I wanted to reach out to their better half was to apologize because at some point you realize that not only are you hurting yourself in the situation, but you're hurting other people. And there's so many people that you're causing pain to. So the only
But guess
time that
what?
mhm,
That's not your position to apologize.
yeah, but I wanted to.
Because no, the reason why I say that because
Yeah.
I can say that from the other side of this
Mhm.
equation is you don't have anything to apologize to me for because number one, You and I don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't know you. You're not my friend. You
Yeah.
are not hurting me. Like, really,
Yeah.
I don't have no feelings for you whatsoever. Like, you are not even a thought. Serious.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like,
Mhm.
if he, needed to be there full time, go ahead over there, brother. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's not the situation. So what are you guys talking about? What's going on? Who's establishing these boundaries, and who's like pulling away from him, and why? And
Right.
why? You know?
Right.
I see we do have a comment in here already. You want to see what they're talking about?
Sure, Donald says, true. Establishing the rules up front is important. Things get messed up when you try to move the goalposts. Absolutely. That's true.
That's true.
Oh, that's true.
Big,
But
big
being the
they,
person, like you, I hear what you're saying, but being the person that I am, I still felt that I needed, I was like, I'm hurting, I'm causing so much pain. But there was a point where they made a phone call and they were at home when they made a phone call, which wasn't wise. And the other phone got picked up and she said, Tori, I don't have an issue with you. I have an issue with him.
exactly.
Yeah. So, and then
Exactly.
this is the other thing that a lot of times, some men will pin pit each women against each other when you don't know what they're telling. Like you could be telling me one thing, telling the other one something else. So it gets really, really messy. So I've always been that person. If I'm dating someone and a female approaches me, I'm the same way. I don't have an issue with the female. I have an issue with them because the commitment is not with me and female, the commitment with the guy. So in the past where I've had situations where I've been cheated on, it ain't about it's about him.
Yeah.
He wasn't disciplined. So, that's the thing. But yeah.
And that's the thing. And this sounds crazy, like what I'm about to say, but it'll make sense.
Hmm.
Like, there has to be some honesty within the affair. Now, what I mean by that is that these persons who are having an affair have to be open and honest with their affair partner. You dig what I'm saying? They
Hmm.
have to be honest about their intentions, their expectations, and also the limitations of that relationship, because there has to be clear intentions. You
Hmm.
got to have some type of expectations, and there definitely has to be limitations.
Right.
There's a that's that component. So where the wife or the person who is in a committed relationship, that's why I feel like you don't have to apologize to her. You're not having a relationship with her. I feel like that communication, that's where that limitation thing is. Like, we don't have anything to do with each other. I see we've got Cynthia in the house saying hello. How you doing,
Hey,
Miss Cynthia?
Cynthia.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, those are some of the rules. And I feel like those are really the key rules. Know what your intentions are, which
Mm-hmm.
typically we know what the intentions of an affair is. I feel like it's up to those people to be honest about it. Okay? You got to
Right.
know what your expectations are and have those clear limitations. You don't be reaching out to my partner. You don't be reaching out to my family, or whatever the case may be. That's just like totally off limits. If you don't have that type of control within that relationship, then you don't need to be having it. And then
Right.
also protection.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So when I say there has to be honesty within the affair, those are the things that you got to be honest about, and that protection also, because you got to prioritize practicing safe sex. You got to prioritize preventing any potential health risks to yourself and your partner. That would be a horrible way to find out that your partner is having an affair. So
Hmm.
that's one of the rules. And
Right.
and also, the primary relationship has to be prioritized.
Hmm.
You got to understand that your affair partner is not a substitute for your committed relationship, right?
Right.
It's just an extramarital affair.
Right. Right.
So,
And
I knew it sounded crazy when with the title saying like, are there rules? Yes, there are rules. And you do need to be discreet. You have to
Right.
maintain some type of discretion, secrecy. You got to avoid leaving evidence. You can't be leaving traces around here. You just can't be doing stupid things. As crazy as it sounds, if you're having an affair, you still have to be respectful. Because you still got to be respectful to your committed relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely. And what was crazy that you were saying earlier, I just thought about when I was in that situation, which was so crazy. I was faithful to that person. And I'm like, and when I look back now, I'm like, what was I thinking? I was actually faithful to a person that was already in a relationship. Like it just that's how I just know. I am so
Wow.
grateful that I'm so grateful that God brought me out of that situation. Because when I tell you I was so gone, I was faithful. I had people that would talk that would try to get to know me that were single, but I was faithful to someone that was already in a relationship, which was crazy. Now that I look back on some of the things, I'm like, oh my God.
Hey,
I was
listen.
lost. I was lost, man. I was lost.
That's literally jaw dropping to me because, and that's a whole
Yeah.
other conversation. That's like a another layer of the conversation because that's where we get caught up.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that it is important to know the rules because
Mhm.
for no reason, knowing what you're in and knowing what you're getting yourself involved in, if you follow some rules, if you knew what your intention was, what your expectation was, and
Mhm.
clearly knew what your limitations was,
Mhm.
you wouldn't have found yourself in that situation.
Right.
Because an affair is going to be what it is. It's going to be what it is. Slam,
Mhm.
bam, thank you. Let's keep it moving. Okay, you did a little
Right.
something for me. I did a little something for you. And that might sound like cold, but it is what it is. And I
Mhm.
feel like people come out better. Well, I don't know, but I would think, and then I could still be wrong. I would think you would be able to handle it better emotionally. Doesn't mean that you don't get caught up, but I think it
Mhm.
might be. I'm not from a position to really say this, but I think it might be easier to disconnect when you know that you're falling, and maybe that might be, maybe I should say this. If you feel yourself falling or getting in too deep, I think that should be a rule for yourself to say, you know what, I gotta cut this off. I can't
Mhm.
do this. I can't do this to myself. Not saying that, you know, I can't do this to her, the other person, because the other woman clearly is not a thought for you. Because if it was that much of a thought and you felt like you were hurting someone, I feel like a person wouldn't even get involved in the beginning. I see we got Genesis with a comment here.
Genesis says, Miss Tanya, affair is dishonest. Can't ever be honesty because both are constantly taking certain precautions. It's fun in the beginning, but then your accountability is enhanced by two or more. There's no respect in an affair, Miss Tanya. He or she was disrespected when they accepted the married person. And I totally agree.
Yeah. Okay. And that's why, you know, it's kind of, I wanted to be clear with saying like, yeah, we know that a affair has dishonesty in it, but
Mhm.
dishonest to who? Dishonest to their partner, the person that they're committed to. The honesty
Mhm.
that I'm talking about is the honesty within the affair. I'm talking about being honest with the person that you're having the affair with. You have to be honest with the person you're having an affair with. Sounds crazy, but we gotta have the conversation and we gotta call it what it is. You do have to be honest with the person you're having an affair with. Because you need to
Mhm.
be honest about what your intentions are, what you're expecting from this person. You've got to set some ground rules. You've got to set some limitations within that relationship.
Mhm.
So clearly, you know that this is a dishonest person because yes, we know this, but there has to be some honesty within this affair.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody lies anyway. So nobody out here is honest about everything. So let's be clear about that. You know, it doesn't have to even relate to having an affair. You might just be telling somebody they look good in something, or they ask you and you say yes. Well, you're lying. You're being dishonest. So let's just kind of be bigger than this word here and not make ourselves be holier than thou. Right?
Yeah, and even when you omit information, it's still being dishonest.
Right. So we
Yeah.
all lie. We all
Yeah.
lie every day or most of
Mhm.
the days. Now, I don't know what I've lied about so far right now, but I'm sure before 24 hours is up, it's something that I'm not necessarily honest about. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it could be to protect someone's feelings.
Yeah. And Cynthia says yes. And the thing is, at the time of getting yourself in that situation, it just seems right at the time, and you're just not thinking about the outcome. And I'm glad you said that, because here's the crazy thing: the situation. Let me tell you. Let me tell y'all. Let me just be honest. How lost I was in that situation. Just like I said, the person spoke so negatively about their person, like they're that she was the worst person ever. Like it was so crazy. And he would, one of the things that he would say is that, sometimes you're in situations that you're not supposed to be in. But he also made empty promises of saying, well, and my thing was, when he wanted me to take their place, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. When you want me to go to their resident, I wasn't doing that. But he like was saying stuff like, some situations are not called by God. And I'm not gonna lie, I bought into it. And I just a lot of things that he would say, I bought into it. And so that's why when I met the person, I was like, they're nothing like they describe. This person is
Mm-hmm.
like a sweet, sweet person. That's why, Tanya, I felt compelled that I wanted to apologize, because I'm like, she's so sweet. Why and then you got to realize people lie all the time to make themselves look good.
Of
But
course.
I mean, he just painted this picture, and I was like, she is such a sweet person. Why would he say these horrible things about her? And when I
Because that was to draw you in. That was to get you.
and I was just like, and it worked back then. It did. It worked. It
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 works
worked like
today.
it worked. Liz,
That works today.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
oh my gosh.
I see we got a
Kimberly
comment here from Kimberly St. Clair. Good to see you in the building on the west side. How you doing?
and Kimberly says, I'm gonna see if I can share a video. I saw just this morning a guy dressed as a side piece. If I can you all might, what is it? If I can, you all might enjoy that clip later. But one takeaway was, he said, it's not crazy that we like you, our side piece, maybe even more than we do our mate, because you are willing to settle. Get in where you don't even fit. Allow me to have my way with you and still go home. Ooh,
Woo!
yeah,
Now see,
yeah,
that's the honesty I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Now that's hard.
But
But that's
it's true.
wow. I hadn't
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah,
But and pretty much that's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta know your role. You gotta know your place and keep it moving.
mm-hmm,
Because out the gate, when you decide to have an affair with someone, you already are settling because you
right.
know that this person is not going to be your forever mate. You know this
Mm-hmm,
person is not going to be your husband. They're married or with someone else. So you've
mm-hmm,
already settled, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why wouldn't he tell you what you want to hear? Because he
Mm-hmm,
just wants what he wants.
mm-hmm.
A man is going to be driven by sex, and women, we tend to be, we're driven by love, you know?
Right.
And we relate love and sex on both sides. Like a woman feels like she has to kind of love you if she want to have sex with you. And then a man is going to, the reverse,
Mm-hmm.
he more or less wants to have sex to feel love, you know?
Right.
But that's hard. I hope you find that video, and I do want to see it because I feel like that's something that some women should hear. Know your place and
Right.
know your role. You already settling. So if
And
he knows that he can have sex with you or whatever relationship, and it can go beyond sex. I mean, they can
mhm,
like and generally like spending time with you, but not all of it. They don't want to have a family with you, you
right.
know. They
Right.
like or love their family, but they want something different. They want something clearly outside of their relationship, right?
Absolutely. And it's crazy that me and my son was just talking about this yesterday. We were talking about the music, and we were talking about, I was telling him about some of the songs that we would listen to back in the day. Like, for example, Whitney Houston song, Saving All My Love for You. I didn't think about it back then, but you saving all your love for somebody that belongs to somebody else. We were talking about Naughty by Nature, uh,
OPP,
OPP. And then you remember that song Moke and Steph? I'm like, we were singing this stuff back in the day, and you didn't realize how
right,
stupid you were sounding like Moke and Steph. He's mine. You may have had him once, but I got him all the time. Like
right,
you can donate him cheating, and you gonna take
yeah,
him back once he cheat. I was like, and we were laughing, we were talking, me and my son literally talked about this yesterday. Like, that's why I told him, I said, that's why I pay attention to the music that you listen to. And it's like a lot of times you don't even know what you singing. Cause I like back then, I thought that music was cool. But now that I listen, I'm like, oh my God, I was listening to that. What? He's mine. You may have had him once, but I got him all the time. Like you
right.
give him a pass to go out there and cheat and then come and then you're gonna accept him back.
Well,
I'm like,
guess what?
mm,
Yes,
whew,
yes. And
Lord
it's
have mercy.
because see, like I said, I can talk from the other side of it. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
because you do forgive people for
Ooh.
things.
Wow.
You
Mm-mm.
do the same way that as some women might feel like they want to apologize to the wife when it's not their responsibility to apologize. But
Mhm.
I feel like this, and I know situations like this. If I have something going on this side, and I'm being taken care in a particular way that I want to be taken care of, or my family is being taken care of in a particular way it needs to be taken care of outside of this sexual connection that you guys are having,
Mhm.
if I choose to forgive, I do feel like I get to do that. But that
Mhm.
conversation is going to be between the two of us. So that same thing and that same reason why another woman might want to get in and get into the wife's head is because she wants all of those other things. See, she's just getting, she's getting a little bit of D.
Mhm.
Okay. You understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying? That's what
Yeah.
she's getting. But literally
Mhm.
want more. And the wife
Mhm.
is literally getting more.
Yeah.
And maybe she don't even want the D like that. You did what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
you've got to really, you really got to be honest with that affair partner. And
Mhm.
then most importantly, you really got to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? I see
Right.
Voodoo Child has a comment here.
See, side pieces are crucial to keep many marriages together. Ooh.
It's true. I've heard that many, many times. And I know that to be true as well.
Mm. Go back. Okay. Yeah, this is a comment I was looking at too. He said, when you, Voodoo Child says, when you order a meal, they ask you what size you want. Sides are optional and can be interchanged. The only thing that is important is the main course. Mm.
Boom.
Yep.
Now he put it into a meal situation, but
But that's true. That's facts.
that's true.
Yeah.
So like we know the rules to this game, and it sounds funny in the title about the conversation that we wanted to have, but we
Mhm.
knew that there really are rules.
Yeah. And Genesis says, I find that women glamorize being a side piece. I knew what we had going on is that mantra. Women today live to be a side. Unfortunately, it is rampant. They rather they rather why they rather hang a man I hear lift every what's that? Man, I don't have my glasses on, y'all. So am I reading that right? It's rampant. They
Well,
rather
sometimes we be typing on here, and sometimes it's typos and this, that, and the other. But I get what she's saying,
okay.
like because there is a culture of women who, you know, they glamorize being a side piece.
Yes.
They
And
do.
that's crazy that they do that because I actually lost friends. Well, I wouldn't consider it a loss, but because I'm that friend that's gonna tell you the truth. And this one particular friend I had, they were they were the side chick, but because this person that they were having the affair was prominent in the community, they wanted to brag about, well, they're this and they're that, but still, sweetheart, you were still the side.
Right.
Who are they taking to these public events? Their wife, not you. But still,
Right.
and so we actually, that's a friendship that I had to disconnect from, because when you started becoming more wise and making better choices, I was like, man, I can't condone that. That's not something that you need to entertain. But I lost that friend because she wanted to continue with that situation. I was like, no, you can't. You got to do better. You deserve
Yeah.
better. And why settle for something like that? Because a lot of times, all the time, men are going to do what we allow. And until you
Exactly.
start requiring, have standards and morals, they're going to do exactly what you allow. And I just couldn't
That's
stand
true.
by and allow her to do. I was like, man, that's on you.
But
But of course,
but
they
here's the
stopped
thing.
talking.
I got you. But also, like we say, some women glamorize it, but some don't, and that is what they want. They don't want all of the other stuff that comes with it. They like that
Mhm.
man. See, people who really have some clear boundaries and who were honest about what they have going on, those clear intentions and expectations, and who really abide by those limitations, and they
Mhm.
have long lasting affairs. That's the only
Mhm.
way that can happen, is when you do that and when you abide by those particular rules. Now,
Mhm.
when you were talking about the music, I think Kimberly here is she's saying something. She's like, funny you mentioned that. She said, I listen to old school R&B every single day. I listen to all those lyrics. My cousin Daryl and I like to pick the song apart, and we both are like, this is codependency on steroids.
It is.
You hear it all the time. I see Voodoo
Yeah.
got a comment there too.
And Voodoo says sometimes a side piece is just a shoulder to lean on and an ear to vent to. And see, I'm glad he said that, because to be honest with you, that's how I got caught up in the situation I was in. This person would vent to me all the time. They would tell me what they had going on. And he always would tell me, you're such a great listener. I wish my wife would listen to me like this. And that's how I got caught up.
Mm-hmm.
I just started out being a shoulder for them to lean on, and it just escalated something else. But now when I have those, I find I have a lot of male friends, and there are some male friends that I have to tell them, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I think you should talk to your wife about certain situations. And there's
Mm-hmm.
some girlfriends I had to totally disconnect from, because I'm telling you, yo, talk to your wife about this, but you want to talk to me. I get it that I'm a good listener, but this is not a conversation that you should be having with me. Talk to your wife about it. And so I refuse to get in a situation like that. When like I said, when you know better, you do better. Now, kingdom be born? Both sexes are driven by sexual desires. That's the lower nature of us as human beings. But the spiritual person focuses on subduing the urges and desires of the lower nature, honoring that which is sacred. Absolutely. And that's where I am now. Back then, that may have overpowered me, but now I'm totally different from what the person that I was then. And Voodoo Child says, women choose to be a side piece too, because they don't always want to be fully committed either. And that was the issue with
Yeah.
this friend of mine. She was cool with being the side piece. She didn't want that.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl.
But think about it. Look at how, if you're a woman who doesn't necessarily want to commit, you know how we hear about people who are commitment phobes. All right.
Mhm. Yes.
So if she doesn't want to commit, that's the easiest thing to do, is have an affair
Mhm.
with a married man, because guess what? You don't have to commit, right? So
Mhm.
you get all of the things that you want, or how whatever it is that you communicated with him, and whatever gratification you're getting from that, outside of being committed to him, having to be the like, hey, I don't want to cook you dinner. I'm not trying to do your laundry. I don't care about none of this other stuff. I want to do me, and whenever it's time for you to do me, and keep it moving. Go on home now. Dig it.
Yeah.
And I can respect that. I can really respect that. That's why I said there is honesty within an affair, or at least there has to be some honesty within the affair. You gotta have that communication in the beginning. You got to.
Oh goodness, Voodoo Child making me laugh. Voodoo Child said it's also the responsibility of the side piece to buy gifts during the holidays for the person that is being cheated on.
All right, be quiet, Voodoo.
And look at his next comment. You know, Genesis gonna get you for that side piece Sundays coming soon at Culture Beach.
What you do? You get a little extra side if you order the main entree.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Listen, that's crazy. But the bottom
Yeah.
line is, if you gonna play the game, you
Yeah.
definitely should know the rules.
Yeah. And Gloria says having an affair is not mainly sexual. Sometimes men want a listening ear. And that is so true because there was a male friend that I had that he's like, he said, he told me, he said, you have such a calming spirit. And my wife is like, that type of thing. So that is very true. It was nothing, he said, I don't see you this way. I just enjoy talking to you because you're such a great listener. But even that, I still had to nip that in the bud as well. I was like, nah, bro, I get it, but I can't
Yeah,
be like
because
this.
I'm thinking
Mm.
this now. Listen, you can A, go get counseling, or B, you know, I can hear you
Right.
without my panties being off. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So I dig that, and I know that can be true. A person
Yeah.
can have a mate who is not understanding, who is not listening, who could be overbearing, or whatever the case may be. But we don't
Mhm.
know how that person is. A relationship is definitely not one sided. But
Mhm.
no, we don't have to get down for me to listen. We don't.
Right.
And
Right.
also, just having rules for myself, there's just certain conversations that I just don't want to have with a married man. If you are in this relationship and you're unhappy, like, I'm going to guide you towards getting someone to talk to, but we're not getting ready to have these type of conversations at all. At all, at all, at all. Can't do it, won't do it, not interested, because I just know that to be a tactic that will draw a woman in, you know?
Right.
That's like that old school game. And even if it's true, that's just like one of those games that I just don't want to fall victim to. So I never that you got to come a little bit better. Now, I'm not saying I haven't been fooled by someone, but not that.
Voodoo Child says men use that listening ear verbiage as a testing tool to see how far they can go.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking that. I see
Mm.
Kimberly left a link in the comments there that you guys can get an opportunity to watch. She said that's a clip for you all to watch later. So
Okay,
we'll
definitely. I'm
all
gonna
make
watch
sure
it.
that we watch it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you, Kimberly. And Voodoo Child says, just like, can I have a hug? Voodoo, I'm glad you said that because I noticed that certain people that was asking me for a hug, I felt like the spirit was was not genuine. Like it was coming from a different place. So certain people, I do not hug. Everybody
Right.
cannot get a hug from me because
They can.
some of those hugs, there are some motives behind a lot of those hugs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Q, I'm gonna call you Q because I don't want to butcher your name. Q says some people don't know about those kind of boundaries. Absolutely, that's so true. That
They
is
don't.
very true.
They don't. But if you gonna have an affair, you better learn to establish some at that particular point.
Look
There
at
gotta be some rules,
pull up
right?
the
Like
comment
I
that was
said.
pull up the comment that
Which
was
one?
right before the comment right before Q. Okay, Kingdom Be Born says that's not an affair, that's a friend. Mm,
Man,
some can be friends, but some want to take it to another level. Let me tell you why. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there was a gentleman that I considered a friend. He would always take up time with my son, would call and check on us and make sure we were good. So then one particular day, we were I was a listening ear to him as well. So then one particular day he says to me, he said, well, Tori, you're such a good listener. You're such an amazing mom. I see how you interact with your son. He was like, I want to, I have an attraction to you and I want to pursue something more. So once I told him I didn't see him the same way, then of course he starts slandering my name. Stop talking to me, stop talking to my son. So sometimes there's a motive behind that as well. You'll pretend that you want to, take up time with my son. That's why I'm very careful now. I don't introduce I allow people to get close to my child. But sometimes men will use your child as a tool to try to get close to the mama. And I was like, bro, it ain't working over here. And so once I told him that it wasn't going down like that over here, that's when he started bashing me and slandering my name. And I was like, okay, bro, it's what it
Got you,
is.
got you.
And that was one of those people that love to hug all the time.
Right. I see Q here. She says she was referring to when I was making comments about not even engaging in conversation with a married man about certain topics so things won't go left. You set boundaries and don't have particular conversations to circumvent problems. Yeah, you do
Absolutely.
and you do that
Hmm.
because you know that game. You know they coming with that
Right.
ear game, that you can
Yes.
listen and you a good listener. As
Yeah.
whether it can be sincere or not, like I said, whether that is the case, bruh, that's not my problem. That's your wife. That's your relationship. You gonna have to work that out, or pay a therapist. Talk to somebody. And trust me, you're not the only man with a problem like that. Talk it out with your friends. I don't know if
Oh,
guys really talk about things particularly like that, but listen, do something, but it ain't gonna be me.
oh goodness. Genesis says, I'm not gonna be nobody ear, shoulder friend at time, nothing. You married them and figured out. Divorce maybe, but talking about your mate, the family life hectic is your business. Women, please be stronger. If you don't want a commitment, don't have sex, especially not with a married man. If you that insecure of your feelings, I'm saying not Consuela with any one partner. Absolutely.
Right.
Hmm. Absolutely. Voodoo child. Some of you are just side pieces with the ring. Oh gosh.
But
Oh
hey,
goodness.
listen, he ain't telling no lie. He's not. Because you
Ooh-wee.
got to imagine there's some men who like or want a particular wife,
Yeah.
and that's who he wants for a wife, who he wants to be mother of his children, who he wants to have a family with. But that other woman
Mm.
out there is a different woman that he's looking to be with. So
Mhm.
what he's saying is really true.
It
Now,
is.
whether or
That's why I
not we
say
want to
ooh-wee.
accept that,
Yeah.
say that
Oh,
again.
I said that why I was saying ooh-wee because it is true. It's very
Yeah,
true.
that's
Very
very true.
true.
And believe it, there's women who know that as well.
Mhm.
And that's why I say, it's not up to the woman who's having an affair with that man to come to the wife because she might know that. That
Mhm.
might be their deal. You dig what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Right.
know your role and stay in your place. Play your position. Lay
Right.
down when he wants you to lay down. All right?
But I felt that comment when he said that because I actually had someone tell me they married the wrong person. It was like, Tori, you the one that got away. I married the wrong person. I'm like, well, you got to deal with your decision. I'm sorry. Voodoo Child says, I have great female friends that started out as failed sexual attempts.
That happens.
Yes. And Voodoo also says boundaries don't matter to men only motivated by sexual intentions. That's very true.
You're right.
Very
That's
true.
that's why the
Mhm.
boundaries really are going to be up to that woman. And it's going to be the boundaries that she has for herself.
Right. And Q says, this is really good right here. No married man or married woman should not have new friends that aren't friends of both the husband and wife. Sincere and genuine friendships before the relationship, marriage are cool. But once you're married, if a new friend comes along, he or she should be friends with both of you or neither of you. Apps. Ooh, that's good right there. I agree because I had a friend that wanted to, well, actually I knew him before he got married, but once he got married, I said, I want to meet your wife. He was like, why you want to meet my, I'm like, dude, if I can't meet your wife, then we can no longer be friends because I don't want your wife thinking that we got something going on. So that
Right.
was another friendship that I lost because he didn't want, it's like he didn't want his wife to know about it. I'm like, bro, ain't nothing going on. But I have a problem with that. If I'm friends with you prior to you getting married, and you don't introduce me to your wife, I'm not gonna still be your friend if I don't know your wife. That's just I can't do that. Voodoo Child says, Tori, when that man said you were the one who got away, he was trying probably so, but access denied.
Okay.
Q says we often use the word friend too loosely. I totally agree. We do.
Absolutely.
We do. We do. Miss Gloria Anderson says people has had affairs for years. I've known people who had an affair for over 30 plus years, but they respect his family. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. See,
Hmm.
let me put that back up. See, this is an older woman. This is the old school
Yeah.
player type of affair. You know, the men who had families on different sides of the town, like in a whole set of families on the
Yeah.
different side of the town. Everybody knew their role. They respected
Hmm.
it. See, you done had a people marriages don't last 30 years, and you talking about a 30-year affair. That's because people have respect. They respected the family. No,
Hmm.
see, she knew her role. She knew
Hmm.
her position. I bet she got good Christmas gifts too.
Mm.
I'm sure
Mm-mm-mm.
she did.
Kingdom Be Born says DMX, what they really want. I gave you, you gave me nothing more, nothing less. Absolutely. Voodoo Child says 30 years ain't no affair.
Well, it wasn't a marriage either. It was something. It was something. He had a whole nother family. And I don't
Mhm.
know. I mean, we live in the South. And I am of an
Mhm.
age that I know lots of that. And if you guys don't know any, Miss Gloria just told you about one. I know
Mhm.
several of those, you know?
Yeah, I do
For
too.
real, for
Where,
real. Know the
yeah,
rules, people.
yeah, I know situations like that too, where they married, and they respected the side person respected the marriage, but he would also be out with her as well. So yeah, I know some situations like that as well.
Because there's boundaries. You
Yeah,
really have to set clear boundaries with your affair
yeah.
partner so that you avoid any confusion.
Mhm.
And although it's hard to, you try
Mhm.
to avoid emotional attachment, but we know that that's not going to be the case, you
Mhm.
know? But you got to protect yourself and really you got to protect your family. What happens if you get hooked up with some crazed psycho type person and you just got your whole family in jeopardy? So you got to talk about some of those rules.
Oh my goodness. Voodoo Child says my grandfather died having sex in the back seat of a car, and it wasn't with my grandmother, so I get it. Wow. Wow.
That's if voodoo is telling the truth. You know, voodoo is a borderline comedian. I don't
You know
I,
what? And I automatically got sympathized. And you know what? Voodoo might just be Voodoo, are you serious?
but you know, because he jokes so much, he could be telling the truth,
Yeah.
and at the same time he could just be being funny.
And Q says social media really has people's values and perceptions of reality effed up. Oh God, yes. I
Well, you
totally
know what?
it does.
It does, but like, see, this situation, we cannot blame this on social media because this has been happening way before social media. That 30 years Miss Gloria is talking about, we didn't even know anything about the internet. The stuff that I know about, I remember seeing things that I maybe shouldn't have seen, and I know
Yeah.
didn't have anything to do with an internet. There are women who are they get well into their marriages and find out that their spouse have kids that are 30 and 40 years old. So,
Yeah.
you know, we having an honest conversation. We are.
But it's
We're
like
not.
it's like
Go
with
ahead.
social media, it's just like with social media though, a lot of things that people put on online, it's like you condone a lot of stuff. And like some of the stuff I see, but some people, I'm one of those people, I can keep scrolling or I unfollow or unfriend people. But there's some people that can be influenced by different things they see. So that's why
Right.
I limit my time on social media. So I get what Q is saying, that like a lot of things that they a lot of things that people post on social media, you could tell they don't respect themselves. Like she said, they don't respect themselves, so they don't know how to value or respect folks. Like some of the stuff that people post, I'm like, really? And look
Yeah.
at Voodoo Child. He says that's 100% fact. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
That's how
then
it is, guys. That's how it is.
and
I'm glad you guys were open to have the conversation. I always appreciate you with your
mhm.
transparency, Tori. I know you'll take a subject and we can talk about something, and then people start coming in and we have a whole conversation. We didn't even get to one of the things that we wanted to talk about. I wanted to
Yeah,
talk about that baby hair.
yeah, we'll talk about it another day because
We
that
gonna have to
this
talk about that another time.
listen. So shout out to the person that inboxed you this topic. This was
For sure.
listen because when listen, like I said earlier, when Tanya sent me the topic, I was like, talk about what? But it was great conversation, totally great conversation. We always have great conversations on Tuesday, and we couldn't do it without you guys. You guys make it great. So thank you
Oh
guys
yeah.
for another Tuesday. And could you show a couple more comments before we leave? Because I know we over the hour, but there's a couple more comments that
And how about
came
I was
through.
already out of the comments already.
Oh, really?
I'll get back in there.
Okay. Q says, I know about those types of relationships too, but in today's society, the view is skewed. It sure is.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment right before, and I want to talk about the baby hair too, out of control.
Listen, I wanted to talk. I got pictures and everything. We gonna have to talk about it, Tori. We might have to. It might not. I don't know if we can wait till next Tuesday. If we find some time within these next couple of days, we might need to just jump on and
Yeah,
talk about it.
we can do it. We can do that. And then Voodoo Child says, please talk about the baby hair and bonnets. Oh my God, y'all. I got to
Absolutely.
send listen, I'm glad he threw the bonnets in there too, because there's something I got to text. I got to text it to Tanya that I saw yesterday. I was like, are you serious right now? With the bonnet situation. You guys making it worse. And then there was another comment that was right before
I ain't putting that
was
comment up. I skipped that on purpose.
oh, okay. So
Yeah, all
then
of that
before
holier than thou crap. We get that.
Miss Gloria says, love these topics, Miss Tanya. Yep, and I'll be 70 next month. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. My husband said that you listening to.
He said, "What you listening to?"
Oh, what you listening to? See, I don't have my
Right.
glasses on. I'm sorry, Miss Gloria. I don't have my glasses on today. I missed a whole word.
It's
And
okay.
Q says, please run that convo and tag me, baby hair, bonnets, and eyelashes.
Oh Lord. Well, see, okay. Well, they done gave us some more stuff to add into it. So we gonna have this conversation. We gonna have a
Right.
conversation about this baby hair. We gonna add in the bonnets, and we gonna add in the lashes. And I want to thank y'all for the conversation today. Tori, go ahead and let the people know. Give them one last message, and I'm gonna let you out of here. And we gonna breathe out.
Listen, just like I said before, this is not something that we condone, but it happens on a daily basis. But I encourage you because as I was, like I said, you guys know that I'm transparent. I have been a side piece before. Was it worth it? It wasn't. But in my situation, I created a child. So I have my son. There was a blessing that came out of my situation. And like I said, I don't condone it, but I got a blessing out of my being a side piece. I got a blessing. My son is a blessing. So
All right,
I
and
want
that's
to end
what
on
it
that.
is.
Yeah. So I just wanted to encourage people to find someone that gonna love you and only have the eyes for just you. And make sure you guys tune in. Miss Tanya been doing her things. This is episode. What episode you on?
We on episode 65 right now. We on that 6-5.
Listen, Miss Tanya has been doing her thing. So make sure you check her out weekdays at 12 noon. And of course, I hope you guys, if you missed the episode yesterday, not yesterday, Sunday with her and her daughter, I love the Brown South Girls podcast as well. And that airs once a month. So make sure you check that out as well. Make sure you go like and subscribe to their YouTube channel and do all of that good stuff. And I
All
enjoy
right.
these Tuesdays, such great topics. And keep those topics coming, y'all.
Keep them coming. Y'all
Someone
keep
be having me
DMing me stuff.
listen. Someone be having me clutching my pearls though.
They do. And do. They do. Sometimes I be trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to word this into a conversation. How am I going to get this into a title and a YouTube description?
But you guys be blessed, and I look forward to being back with you guys on next Tuesday. And just in like Tanya said, I may do a pop up later on in the week. Who knows? That's on Miss Tanya. So whenever she calls me, I'll come running. So peace out, y'all. You enjoy the remainder of your afternoon, and I'm out. Peace.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. It's been good. It's been a good conversation. I want to thank everybody who took an opportunity to join the conversation with us. Thank you for your comments because, listen, if you're going to play the game, you need to know the rules. You need to remember that you are responsible for the decisions that you make. So make sure that you are being respectful to yourself, to your committed relationships. Think about your health. You got to think about that. All right. All right, y'all. We had the conversation. There's rules to it. There are rules to being a side piece. Know your role. Stay in your lane. All right. That's all it is. Now that we've had this conversation, we got to do what we got to do. We got to breathe this thing out. We got to breathe it out because I need to relax after having this conversation. All right. But we're going to be back with you again. We will. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow on Wellness Wednesday. Yes, I will. And as Tori did tell you, you can go to the Brown South Girls podcast. We had a very great conversation on Sunday. We were talking about colorism. And I got to say, I really enjoy having that conversation with KJ. So you guys go on over to YouTube and make sure you look up the Brown South Girls podcast. And we have had a very engaging conversation. All right. Until the next time, until we meet here again at 12 noon on the Noontime My Time Podcast. This has been another edition of Talking Out Tuesday with Tori and MsTonya. We'll be back with you again. But for now, let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. Right?